Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. Welcome to our Story Hour craft for all ages with the Taylor Library. My name is Miss Jen and I'm here to explain our wonderful craft to you today. So again, we have these wonderful kits. If you signed up for our all ages group, you would have received one. But most of these are household items, so if you are just joining us now, you should be able to complete this craft with us. And the first thing we're going to do is take out our markers. It's very important that we use our markers, not our crayons, this week. Normally we get the choice, but the markers are essential. The next thing we're going to do is take out our coffee filter. There might be some little pieces of tissue paper in there. So there's a coffee filter that's folded in half. The coffee filter is the bigger of the two. There are two thin paper half circles like this that are folded over. The bigger one is the one that we're going to need. Next, we will need a clip. This is a clothespin. It opens and closes. Careful not to get our fingers mashed in there. And then that's good for that. This is a messier craft than we've done in the past, so please be prepared with something to protect your tables or be ready to wipe them down. These are washable markers, but there's still a possibility that it will bleed and stain. So I have this that I'm going to be doing it on, but you can use newspaper or go outside for this craft if the weather holds. Next, we're going to need a cup of water and then a pair of scissors. So there is some drying time involved in this craft, so before you get started, make sure that you have enough time to let this dry either for a couple of hours or overnight before continuing. And I'll tell you when the first part of the process is done so that you can pause and then come back to it at a later time. But the secondary steps after we pause are fairly easy and straightforward. So to begin, we have this coffee filter, and then you have your wonderful markers. We're making bats. So this will be the body of our bat. These are going to be the gorgeous wings, and we're going to water dye these. So using any colors that you like, typically the darker the color, the better the tie-dye comes out for these to make the intricate watercolor wings. You definitely will need the black. I'm going to be using purple and blue for this, but again, you can use any of these colors. The darker tends to watercolor nicest, and the black and purple are a beautiful combination. So we'll start with that, and we are going to roughly color on this coffee filter. It's hard to see on my white background, so I'm going to start in the center. Do your lighter colors in the center, and then move outwards. So I'm going to start. This doesn't have to be a work of art. Honestly, scribbles work just as fine. So I'm going to go like this, just like that. Next, I'm going to do this color. And I'm working out from the center, and this will make like a nice like rayed color from top to bottom of our bat. As you can see, it's bleeding through, so we definitely need something underneath before we get started. I'm going to do this, actually repeat the pattern for mine. black in. So that is that colored. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it in half, and then we're gonna fold it in half again, like that, and then one last time in half again. Now I have this big cup of water. You don't actually need this big of a cup, but I wanted you to be able to see what I'm doing. You definitely don't need as much water, you just need to be able to lightly dip this in the water, and you'll see that all of these colors will begin to bleed, which means that they'll run into each other and create this really cool tie-dye effect. So I'm gonna dip the end in the water. You can see instantly the water is starting to pull up through the colors. So I might need to do a little bit more, make sure that it's getting wet enough. You're starting to blend down a little bit more. And then I'm gonna tip it upside down so that the point is up, and watch as the colors flow from one side to the next. You might need a little bit more if you don't have enough. One last time. All right, and your hands are gonna get messy, so just be ready to wash them. Now I'm opening this up very, very carefully. It's very delicate once it's wet. I'm gonna open it up wide. Might drip a little bit. And we're gonna set it over the edge of our water cup, just like that. And we're gonna let this dry. So this is the part where we're gonna pause and come back to this once this is dry. This will take a couple of hours, and you can feel free to come back tomorrow, but already you can see how beautiful this is tie-dyeing. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video here and come back once this is completely dry, and we will complete our craft. All right, hello again and welcome back. Hopefully you have given your coffee filter enough time to dry. Mine is nice and dry. It needs at least 24 hours, if not longer. And then you'll be able to see this beautiful tie-dyeing effect. So there's only a few more steps to finish this up for our final creation. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold my filter in half, just like that. Okay, then with a pair of scissors, I'm going to notch out little half circles all the way along the edge of my filter. So make sure you don't cut off too much, but you want kind of like what's called a scalloped effect all the way along. So I will start with a little cut and go like that. So I took out a little half circle right there. If that is too difficult to do so that they're consistent, what you can do is fold it in half again, fold it again, and then you'll only have to do a few scalloped edges, like one, and then two. So it looks like that, where there's two little half circles taken out, and then when you unfold it, it has them even all the way around. Whichever you prefer, either method is perfectly fine. So I can either just go around and cut out half circles, or I can fold it in half, fold it in half again, and then just cut out two little half circles like that. So we're gonna unfold it to this point, so it's a semicircle. Then we are going to take our clothespin that looks like this. Taking our filter, we're gonna kind of scrunch it up in the middle a little bit. You can fold it over on itself a few times like that. And then we're gonna use the clothespin to pinch it right in the center. And then you might wanna flatten out each side a little bit so that it lays flat. But there you have the shape of your bat. So it's starting to come together. We just have one last step. Using our markers, we're going to decorate the clothespin. I'm gonna color mine in black so that it looks like a little bat, and then you'll be all done. So, coloring this in. Now again, if you use purples or blues or blacks on this, it's going to look like a bat. Any other colors might be a little too bright, but if that's what you want your bat to look like, that's okay. So I did one side, I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side. And that is it. So now you've made a beautiful tie-dye bat. It can flutter around and eat lots of nice bugs. Bats are very helpful. They might look a little creepy because they're nighttime creatures, but they're very, very good for the environment. So I hope that you guys enjoyed making this craft with me and that you'll be able to join me next week for our next one. Have a great Halloween, be safe, and I hope to see you next week. Take care, bye-bye.